All right. Hey, everybody. Garfield, Mary, Rich Rigoloso. We're back at our podcast here in Garfield at Breakaway Studio. My man Marvin is over there. Marv, give yourself a shout out. All right. He's not. There it is. There it is. And I'm here with our city manager, all right, from the City of Garfield. She's the one that runs the day-to-day operations of the City of Garfield. The third biggest city in Bergen County?
We're only one of three cities in Bergen County.
Okay, one of three. So we're in the top three.
Yeah, exactly.
You see how that works? So we're sitting here with Erin Delaney, all right? My running mate. Well, not my running mate, but we ran.
Previously.
Running mate. And
yeah,
then
at one point we were running mates.
And then 8 years ago, we ran together.
Yeah.
And we got on together. And that was exciting, right?
It was. It feels like yesterday.
No one expected it.
No one expected it.
We came out from nowhere. Yeah, that was fun. And
I was 25 back then. I wish I still was.
Yeah.
Time flies.
You look younger than 25, if that means anything.
Thanks, Mayor.
Yeah, you see how you brown nose your boss? You always got to do that. You always got to do that. So
vice versa. You're my boss, technically.
Remember when I was the rec center counselor, the head counselor?
You were the head teacher. So yes. So this is the second time. Yep. We were at number 7 school.
Number 7 school. I mean, you were a counselor right out of high school.
I started in high school, actually.
Yep.
I was 15, turning 16. I started working at the rec center. I remember it was right before my Sweet 16, and those were some good times. I worked with you, Todd Williams.
Oh, Todd. Yep.
We had some roster of a crew there.
I tell you, that's when life was easy, right?
It was.
No worries, no nothing.
It was.
And now we got all these worries.
Yeah.
At least I don't worry, like the traffic.
The traffic. That's why I walked here.
Yeah, because it would take you 20 minutes to get here right across the street from City Hall.
Parking.
So everybody in TV land, we got a lot of things going on in the City of Garfield, right?
Very busy.
And we're doing River Road. You know, we have to work on the PSE&G's time schedule, right?
Yes, actually. We have a lot of projects going on throughout the city that the city's spearheading that we're excited about. But there are certain things that are out of our control.
Yep.
PSE&G work, they're always doing certain upgrades. And, while long-term, I'm sure it will be better, but certainly
it's an
for the
inconvenience
short term,
now.
it's an inconvenience. And I understand where our residents are coming from. I live in town, work in town, and I drive through the same street. So I see what they're dealing with on a daily basis. Spoke with PSE&G today, actually, the police department today, trying to come up with better communication so that we can be better prepared moving forward.
But it is out of our control. This is when they tell us, and that's what it is. And we say no, then it's basically we're not getting the service, and we have to wait years later, and we lose the money that we got to pay the PSE&G.
Yes, and people see that our police are assigned to these jobs, but there's a third-party vendor. Yep. PSE&G is paying our police directly, so even though our name is at the site, again, it's typically not often our work. And when it rains, it pours, right?
Yeah.
And I believe what
you telling me? Yeah.
So when it rains, it pours. I think it was last Tuesday. There was road work going on in Elmwood Park.
That's right. I remember that.
We had work going in Garfield, and at the same time, in the middle of rush hour, New Jersey Transit's gates malfunctioned
right on Porterville
at the Porterville train station.
That's right.
So it was a culmination of all those three things, and it was certainly a recipe of disaster. But that's always how it works, right?
I remember that. Man, it took me, forget about it.
Yeah, I know.
I was shooting my texts out there, too.
Yep.
So I even complained to the city manager. So everybody complains, and she gets all the complaints. I get a lot of complaints, but she gets many more because she gets it from the businesses, vendors, residents, and you got to handle it. And that's what we do. We handle it.
It comes with the position.
So wait, so everybody in TV land, how'd you get involved in all this? Like 8 years ago?
8 years ago. Well,
because you were involved in the health field.
Yes. So right after college, I started working for nonprofit.
Wait, and just so you know, you went to Bergen Community.
I did.
Right, for free.
I did.
Because you were in the top 10% of your graduating class from the City of Garfield. All right. And what was that program?
Yep.
So everybody knows.
I graduated high school in 2009, and
See, now you're giving your age out because you're going to start adding up.
I'll be 33 in June.
Yeah, okay.
And back then, the program was a little bit different, but I was in the top 20 seniors of my graduating class. And, my parents come from a middle-class family.
That's right.
Like most
Everybody in
students
Garfield.
do in Garfield. And I was always kind of fiscally conscious, even at a younger age.
So all you people out there, I'm telling you, it's in the DNA.
It's in the DNA. It was always like this.
Yes.
And so there was an opportunity, the NJ Stars program, where if you were in your top 20 seniors of your graduating class, you can attend Bergen Community College 2 years for free. So I went that route, could have gone to Penn State. There were several other schools that I had applied to, gotten partial scholarships for. But, for the sake of my parents' peace of mind and myself, a lot of my friends were older. So I saw the school loans that they were accumulating. Yeah. So I went that route, and they also had an NJ Stars 2 program. If you kept your GPA up at Bergen Community, you could go to a state school for. I walked out with my bachelor's degree with 0 student loans, 0 debt, and got right down to business, working for a nonprofit I was working per diem with while I was in college, worked at the rec center at the same time still. And, but I love the nonprofit work. I'm still involved in my former agencies. I volunteer for other nonprofits, whether it be on boards with the Boys and Girls Club of Garfield. I served for about 7 years on the Bergen County Board of Social Services. So still heavily involved because it's something that
some
I'm
of those
passionate
boards are
about.
rewarding. They really are rewarding.
Are,
it's not just a place you show up. They are
seeing the work
rewarding.
and the outcomes and the employees that they all staff are really something. And it's a testament to their mission, and they're always dedicated. So that's what I did for many years. But naturally,
there was a calling there.
There was a calling. Like you said, it's in my DNA, being fiscally conscious. My dad ran for politics, I believe, the same year I was born. And
he ran for the Board of Ed.
He started with the Board of Education. I'm the youngest of 5 kids. And I was really the only one that enjoyed going with him to functions.
Yeah, because your brother Joe, he doesn't.
No, it wasn't his forte. He wasn't interested. He'd rather be out, playing baseball, manhunt, whatever it was, chasing girls.
What? Come on, Joe doesn't chase girls, does he?
No, they chase him sometimes.
That's how it should be then.
So ever since I was little, I loved going to board meetings. Oftentimes, Dr. Conti would pay me $10 to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's right.
And,
I remember a meeting I went to. It was something about the negotiations between the police and the city.
Uh-huh.
And you must have been a junior or senior or something like that.
Yes.
And you actually got up there, talked, and you ripped into one of the council people and everything.
I ripped into the entire council, including my father.
Okay.
He was on the council then. But yeah, I was in high school. So I always liked what he did. It brought me and my father to get to closer.
Yep.
And yes, actually, that was another milestone moment where they had just hired about 12 cops. And shortly thereafter, they were ready to lay off a good portion of those 12. So I spoke my piece, went up during the public hearing. That was a very well-attended meeting. There was a protest out front.
Yeah, we know those well-attended meetings. Remember we were on?
Yes, we were.
Oh, my God.
Those were the days. We were like thrown into the fire.
Yeah, but we didn't blink.
We didn't. No, we pushed forward, listened to everyone and their concerns. And listen, we made some mistakes along the way, and it was
and we owned them.
Yes.
We never backed away from our mistakes, and we weren't afraid to change our mind either.
Exactly. We always kept an open mind, and that's what's important because there's no shame in changing it.
No.
And like you said, like admitting the fault.
Yeah, listen, you're right. It didn't work out. When we tried to do Passaic Street that way, when we first walked in, and we were sworn in, it was like the next week. you know,
with the
they were
planning
talking,
board, yeah.
they were talking about eminent domain and this and that. We didn't know any better.
Yeah, we had no familiarity
and there was no one
beforehand.
coaching us. And we're like, we're going by what everybody else is saying. All the professionals, the people in City Hall, and we're like, let's go with it.
There was definitely a learning curve.
And we took a beating and everything like that. We still knew that we wanted to redevelop. And we
Yes.
wanted to change the image of the city of Garfield and everything like that, move Garfield forward. But that was the wrong way of doing it.
Absolutely.
And we took a beating on that, not knowing as we got along, we were too far ahead to do anything about it. And we had to let the chips fall where they may. And we took our beatings.
I know I always learn best under pressure when someone puts my feet to the fire.
Right.
And that was a prime example of, you know, learning, growing from it, and knowing how to go about things the right way.
There were literally like hundreds of people in the audience at the council meeting.
The
and
news at times.
The news at times, then the planning board.
And they were long meetings
And
too.
they would go to 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. There were no 1 hour, 2 hour meetings back then.
You know, and they tugged on your heartstrings and everything like that. And you know, we had our plan and we had our vision and we wanted to move it forward. But that was the wrong way. But we corrected
You
it.
tweak things, yep.
We corrected it and we got, you know, things to move forward a little slower than usual, but we got things moving forward in the right way. But it was the right way we're doing it
And
now.
it's nice seeing the projects come into fruition because things take time. I mean, we had the pandemic, interest rates, and, you know, certain jumps and hoops that people needed to go through, but finally seeing the projects come into fruition, it's rewarding to see and it's nice to see.
It is. And you know, like Columbus Field.
Yeah.
It's going to be nice when that is, and that's like one of these, you know, embellished stories about Columbus Field that everybody gets mistaken about that.
It was just a conversation that got taken way out of context and got taken too far.
Right.
You know,
there was no lawsuits. There was nothing but court. There was nothing like that. It was like, oh, if you go through with this, we're going to take you to court. And we're like, what are we doing? We're talking. It was literally a conversation among the 5 of us and the city manager at that time, figuring out ways to develop Columbus Field into a useful field being used by everybody every day.
At the lowest financial burden to the city. We were just exploring options, and, you know, when some people catch wind of certain things get blown out of proportion, which it was. And at that time too, again, we were keeping an open mind, and
we were looking for ways to. So we were looking basically for ways to do the football field, the sports complex, and finding ways to
do Columbus
Field at the same time.
Yeah.
And we figured, why don't we do something here, get the money there, put it to the football field, and then we figure it out. It just doesn't work.
It doesn't work. And, you know, so at that point, when we realized it wasn't going to work, it wasn't worth it, it wasn't possible. I mean, I remember we passed a resolution just to assure other individuals that it will
never
always remain a
and would never be apartments on that place. And
absolutely. Just for that peace of mind.
Yeah, just to appease them and everything like that. Because, and that's how things are, you know, in, I guess, local governments. You sit around the table during your council meetings and you go close sessions and you talk about things.
Yeah.
What works, what doesn't work. Sometimes there's arguments.
Well, that's why it's called a work session, because that's where the majority of things get discussed. There's open conversation, open dialogue, and different ideas being shared. You know, you might have an idea and then I jump on and build on that. It's kind of where you get down to the nitty gritty.
Right.
Those are supposed to be your longer meetings. And then, you know, by the time your regular meeting comes around, you're just voting on the things that were previously discussed.
Your professionals chime in, what could be done, because we're not professionals in any of these things. We're sitting there and we're figuring things out. We rely on our attorneys, our engineers, our architect,
our
planners. These are the people we rely on. And at the end of the day, when we were going through all this, we were just kicking tires. And a lot of times that's what we do. We kick tires.
Yeah. Sometimes nothing comes out of...
nothing comes out other than discussion. But people would take that
and twist it to their own narrative.
I see that now going on with the BOE.
Yeah.
You know, with all the teachers and everything like that. You know, and even though I work for the Board of Education, I try to stay out of their business. You know, I try to keep myself away from all that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they like to tie myself in.
Yep.
Just because I supported a certain group doesn't mean I sit at their table. Are we privileged to some of the conversation that goes on? Yeah, because we sit at, you know, at a table together. But we don't chime in. They do their business. We do our business.
And some people want answers right then and there. And I can understand and appreciate that. But there's a time and a place, and there's certain regulations. And I don't know what's going on that end.
I know you don't even follow it.
Yeah, I have my hands full with the city.
And you really don't follow it.
I really
people
don't.
think you're like involved. And like, people think the whole council is involved in that.
Yeah.
And the only reason I follow it because I sit as a principal and you hear it.
Exactly. So you're in that
I
environment.
I hear all different rumors. And I'm telling you, everybody, the council doesn't follow what the Board of Ed does. And the Board of Ed doesn't really follow what we do. They ask us questions like, someone on the Board of Ed asked me the other day, what's going on at Columbus Field? This is about a week and a half ago. I'm like, well, you live in a cave? like you don't know?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I'm not paying attention. And that's what it is. They don't pay attention.
You know, people have their own focus, rightfully so. They're different entities. But, you know, and I hear rumors, but I take the rumors with a grain of salt until something is in writing or voted on.
Oh, that's
you know,
all it is rumors.
Because, too, you know, people could change their minds. So until something is formal and official, you know, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah,
so
I believe it when I see it too.
But with Columbus Park, I truly, it's one of the projects that I am thoroughly excited about. I feel like it's kind of been my baby, being involved in the design process. And it started with a simple application to Green Acres and
now,
Bergen County Open Space.
85% of this park is being funded by Green Acres.
Yeah, so
very little. This is about a $6 million park.
This right now, I believe it's about like a little over $5 million.
All right.
We have a little over $3 million in grant funding now, so $2 million to go. But we have a supplemental application in at Green Acres. This will be our third one for Columbus specifically, and they've been so generous to us, and with the upcoming award, hopefully, it might end up costing the city under $1 million out of our pockets.
And that's unbelievable.
That's the goal.
And we've been working on this ever since we got on the first time around, because we saw it was an underutilized field. If you weren't playing baseball, the field never got used. Every now and then I would drive by and I see a guy with his dog or someone hitting a golf ball.
That's it.
And that's it. There wasn't a walking path. There wasn't anything. This is going to be a gem in the middle of the city. And I
it's
can't
going
wait.
to be the crown jewel.
Yeah.
It's at one of our busiest, if not the busiest, intersections with Midland and Outwater. And, you know, as you know, that's where we intend to have so many of our city events, our tree lighting. It will really be a source of so much community and joy for all residents, you know, not just one group, whether it be one sport, one age. It's really going to be an all-inclusive park that has something for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I really try to understand like what everybody was upset about when the park got, you know, they started taking things down and everything like that. And it was a lot of that misinformation that people put all over social media. I mean, think about it. Close to $5 million will be funded by, you know, the state and the county. And this is a testament to you, us, and the city. Like, it's the connections we make.
Absolutely.
And we made those connections. You made those connections through Bergen County. You know, when you go and you put these grants in, or you go and you ask for money, you know, it's just human nature. Like, what does Garfield do? What does this person do? That person, and they give them pennies. Some municipalities get pennies. Some get none. But we got...
It's all about the connections and the reputation as well. What I've come to find is if you're on target with deadlines, if you're great at communication, transparent with the organization that's giving the money, they're more willing to support your projects in the future, give you additional
you make their
funding.
life easier.
You make
when
their
they
life
when they got to
easier.
do the reports.
Exactly.
They're not chasing you.
I have so many entities that if they're doing an audit and it's the end of the year and it's lose it or use it funding, they'll give me a call and say, does Garfield have any projects? Because we know you're on top of it. And, what can we do? Because if we don't use this money will lose it and we might be decreased next year. So that happens a lot as well.
We even get money for the organizations like
the
Y, the Boys and Girls Club, their air conditions and things like that. We get them hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yep, we are their voice at some of these meetings.
Sometimes we're the only voice at their meetings.
Yeah,
there are other municipalities who fight us, and I've heard it, I've seen it, where they actually attack us. Like, why is Garfield getting that money? One, because we show up, and like you said, you actually got to show up to these things. Yeah. If you don't show up, you don't get anything, and they have meetings all the time.
It's in their bylaws. I had a meeting on Monday about funding where your presence was.
You got one at 5:00,
and I have another one today at 5:00, and another one next week. There's different rounds, different regions, and as I mentioned earlier, I was on the board of social services. Now I'm on a different board that's responsible for funding that goes to nonprofits. So, which also goes back to my love and care for them. I get to be their voice with funding.
That's right.
Opportunities. So yeah, we're very aggressive in our grant applications in the city of Garfield. 100%.
And that's why the city's moving forward. That's why, I've mentioned that many times but we have been recognized as one of the top small cities of under 40,000 in North Jersey. It's because of the money that were coming, the
testament to the work that's being done.
Yeah, everything. Sure. As a small little municipality, and we're not so small when you talk about we're close to like 40,000 people, and there's a lot of things going on there. But you're going to be talking about there's 1, 2, 3. There's going to be 4 new schools in the city of Garfield, a new sports complex, 1 park, 2 park, 3 new parks being built. Well, 1 was already built, 2 being built at this Time River Road.
The train stations,
the train stations.
The variety of businesses. I mean, even down to the food that we have. I mean, people come from all over. Yeah. For different, for certain restaurants in Garfield.
You're absolutely right. And, it's just a testament to this city, the hardworking people of the city of Garfield, and where everybody comes together. Now there's all these community events going on. And, everybody likes it. That's why, we kind of ran, too, because there was nothing going on.
There was definitely a lull in what was being offered. And, kudos to the events committee and, the mayor and council for their support, budgetary wise, our finance department, because a lot of behind the scenes work happens to bring these events to the residents. And I know sometimes there might be a slight cost associated, but you would be surprised how much it costs to put them together, from the vendors, the police, the DPW, the health department. And, we open up our arms to other organizations. We had the health department
working on Saturday, this past Saturday, about the big community event with the Y. We shared it with the Y and everything like that. But you had the police closing down the roads.
Yeah, because the safety of the attendees is important. And you have food trucks, they have to be inspected.
Thousands of dollars of cost.
Thousands of dollars.
But at the end of the day, it's a great event for the community of Garfield. Parents don't have to go out look for something for their kids to do on a Saturday. They come to the city of Garfield. And, they go right to Century Field.
Location is convenient.
We have a fishing. We have the Cops and Bobbers coming up.
Yep.
Next week. There's a lot going on. This week was a busy week.
It was a very busy week.
And it's not even over and everything like that. You had meetings left and right. We had our council meeting yesterday. There was a zoning board meeting yesterday. On Monday. And that was a big meeting and everything like that. And it was a tough meeting. And just to clear the air, and I understand people are upset, but there's the Batcave and Snowball on Midland Ave. Yeah. But the city has nothing to do with the owner's piece of property. They can do what they want. And I know the owner of Batcave wanted us to do something, step in, but legally we couldn't do nothing else. We'd be held liable.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and I can empathize with the business that is essentially losing their home. I certainly can.
Because the previous owner,
they sold
to
someone new.
To someone new, and he didn't tell them the back end that he was selling it to someone new, and that became the whole thing.
Very unfortunate circumstance, but with this new owner, we can't tell them what they can build or what they can't demolish on their property. By no means is there any apartments going up on that site.
And that's what everybody used to think in the beginning too, right?
There is absolutely no apartments going up on site. And, I didn't attend the meeting. Similar.
You'd have been a trigger.
Similar to, stuff going on with the Board of Education. I tried to stay out of it, but I did see a little snippet where the attorney mentioned, that's like telling us we can't demolish these two homes on our property, or these two, buildings on our property would be like, someone telling you that you can't demolish a garage at your home. And our hands really were tied. We had our former attorney look into it, speak with the attorney of the new owner at the time, Snowball, and at the recommendation of our attorney to protect the city of Garfield, we could not get involved.
And listen, and we looked to help him. He may not think it, but we looked to help him. We looked at pieces of property for. I know I looked at some property on River Road, but they were selling property. They were looking to rent out property. And then he started to bash us, and I stopped doing what I was doing. But at the end of the day, it is unfortunate. I wish him the best, wherever he goes. I hold no hard feelings to him and everything. That it's just unfortunate. And I understand his anger, but there was really nothing we can do because he is the owner of the property.
Yes.
And
it was a landlord-tenant dispute. We don't get involved, in a two-family home landlord-tenant dispute.
Right.
Like I said, the attorneys advised us that we could not get involved. And
as
by
long
no
as they find,
means do we want to welcome businesses to the city. We don't want to push anyone out. So that is an unfortunate false narrative. I too wish him the best. And
I think it was more political too. There were some people who were, stoking the fires, But whatever it is, it is.
Yeah.
We know who you are. You're stoking the fires, getting people all riled up, going up there to talk, But that's what they do. That's
what some people do.
That's their job. They want to stoke the fires and change the narrative. But it is what it is. So now you've been doing the city manager and the city clerk for the last 3.5 years.
Yeah, time flies.
Yeah. Any future moving up the ladder? Because I only say that because Erin was voted when she was under 30 and under.
Yes.
She was one of the top 30 people, not even females, people.
Yeah, millennials.
That's it. Millennials in New Jersey, 2 years in a row in New Jersey and everything like that. And that's a testament to your hard work of where you came from to where you are
Thank
now.
you.
And I know, in the county, they talk about you and they rave about you of everything that goes on over here and the great things that we're doing over there. So I'm wondering if, they're going to be coming and pulling you out one day.
I am very happy.
There you go. That's what I wanted to hear.
Where I am right now, born and bred here.
That's right.
There's something about you have more of a connection and a dedication when you were born and bred in the community that you live in, that you work for.
You grew up in.
That I grew up in. And so I think I'm too enmeshed and dedicated to the position to even think about going anywhere else. And I very much base my decisions on long-term goals as opposed to short-term. I can certainly have the opposite, state of mind, but it would only be good for me, and not like I make my decisions off of if I weren't there tomorrow, setting up the next person for success. and, setting up the mayor and council for success. So it would be very easy to think short term, but I base all of my decisions on what's best long term.
Well, you make our jobs a little easier. I tell you, that make our jobs a lot easier. Not a little easier, a lot easier.
I don't mind being the bad guy sometimes, but you know what? You just have to have that open conversation with people and explain things.
Everybody knows up front, but not even that. You just your organizational skills. That's what I was.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I was.
Sometimes I'm a little too organized.
Oh yeah. I'm like, what is this? Oh Jesus! I remember that. Every time a meeting's over, she takes the notes and she has to,
do the meeting minutes, agendas.
Yeah, and then send it out to the right people. And all of a sudden, it's 8:30 in the morning and you're getting all the notes of what went on in the meeting. And I'm like, wow, we talked about that, because sometimes my mind wanders to other things every now and then.
What about when I first started? I would do city manager weekly reports.
Yes.
And I enjoyed doing them, and
this week we'll be having
and it helped me I held myself accountable.
I remember that.
But no one really looked at them. So I said, for the 30 minutes that I spent doing this, I could be doing something else.
Man, I think about I think about sometimes when we're on the council, the fighting that takes place.
Yes.
Oh my guys, yes. You don't even know. Like sometimes they got downright ugly.
But even the structure is different now, and I think that things run so much smoother.
Yep. And we still argue.
We still argue
over things and everything like that. But
things get heated.
Yeah, things get heated. Because now there's all these different personalities, and everybody wants something different, or everybody thinks of something different. But we all come to a similar compromise.
What's important is we all compromise. No one holds a grudge.
That's right.
You're upset for the time being. You talk about it. You move on.
We have our master plan coming up, right?
Yeah. So by state law, every 10 years, a municipality is required to update their master plan. And 2024 brings us to our 10th year.
Yeah, and we have a great vision, great master plan. Mm-hmm. I mean, the city in the last 3 years has increased the medium salary range. The home value went up.
Yeah.
A lot of positives. We're being recognized across the North Jersey. That's Bergen, Passaic, and even Hudson County. They're recognizing us, and we're getting a lot of money from the state, the county.
And now's the time you want to take advantage of all that positive spotlight to continue the progress, continue moving forward. The master plan will be key for it's a roadmap, for the next 10 years. You can certainly update it sooner. I personally didn't want to spend the money sooner, but the requirement is 10 years. And like I said, it's the roadmap of our plans for the future, and it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah. So, I thank everybody for listening on today, right?
Yes.
Marvin, I want to thank Marvin from Brave Studios. I want to thank our city manager for coming on in. Her father wasn't here. He's a little under the weather, so he's not here. But we didn't need him. He would have been just chiming in and just getting in our way of a good conversation.
He gets quite dramatic when he has his cold.
Oh yeah.
The mayor's quite the natural. I was a little nervous coming in here, and I know he's done a few of these already.
We just have a cheesy conversation.
I love it. My dog made an appearance here before I did, so I figured if she could do it, I could do it.
We have a big lineup going on. We have our semi-WWE wrestlers coming in next week. Then we got some other top guests coming on. Mm-hmm. And we got a lot to talk about in the city of Garfield.
A lot of upcoming events.
The city's moving forward in a great direction. We're excited about where we're going. We have a great team of people that work together, from the DPW to the police department to our workers in City Hall.
I couldn't get what I get done on a daily basis without the support staff. Yeah. They are amazing. And the support of the mayor and council. I think, I'm very lucky to have a job that I like. So I thank you, Mayor, and the rest of the team for supporting me.
You're natural at that. You know what the toughest part is, I think, is that some people just don't like the change or being told no.
Yeah.
You can't do it. But unfortunately, we're in a position like sometimes we would love to do it, but we can't do it. We have to put it on the side, the back burner, or it's just a plain I know. But at least they know.
It's refreshing when you have a resident that was against something and then they give it a chance and they change their minds and they give you praise and say, you know what, I was wrong. I really like this. And that happens more times than not.
It really does because, you know, at the end of the day, the city is moving forward and nothing's really changed.
No.
None has changed at all. You got, you know, beautiful parks being built, the River Road Park, you got a Kalama chemical plant that's been empty for...
And that's been contaminated, which will now be
for
cleaned
50
up. The
years,
residents
40
in that
years
area,
or whatever.
I would be ecstatic.
You know, like those are the things. You know, you had a couple of buildings being built. I get the people who talk about overdevelopment, but that's not overdevelopment. Not one person... That one on Pacific Street, do you know that not one person, so that's 99% occupied, not one person has a child in the school district.
I believe it. It's all studio and one bedrooms.
And
it's very,
85% of them commute to Manhattan.
You took the words out of my mouth. Very few have cars.
Right.
You know what? I do see that, you know, the traffic has been attributed to overdevelopment, and it's just simply not true. It's a series of unfortunate events, as mentioned earlier, with all of the road work, different projects. You know, we do have 2 train stations. That's what's contributing to the traffic, not the overdevelopment.
Sure. And, you know, we know it's an inconvenience now, but at the end of the day, like...
It will be worth it in
We're
the end.
setting up Garfield. One day, you know, who knows? Hopefully I'll be here next round. If not, so be it. But at least I'm setting up Garfield, at least I think in my mind, for a better future. Like, you know, I could leave and say, listen... I think Garfield's in a better place than it was 8 years ago.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about.
And I'll be happy and I'll lay my hat on that. And, you know, I do think that. I think we have a lot to offer. And even the previous team, even though we argue with the previous council and everything like that, we got things done.
Yeah, we did.
We got
Definitely.
We got things done. And, you know, it wasn't, you know, a lot of fighting and more fighting than not, but things got accomplished.
We got things done and we definitely have had a lot to be proud of.
You know, when you could build 2 parks and, you know, get things done and we get a downtown and there's some buildings going around and it's a great
At little to no cost to the residents.
That's the most important
doing
thing.
it the right way. You know, it's so easy to bond things, just like it's easier for you and I to pull out our credit card and charge things.
Well, more easier for me than you.
So, you know, it's easy, but, you know, we're chasing the money. And like I mentioned before, we're being aggressive.
Listen, there's a lot to offer in this city.
Yeah.
Like people don't realize it. We have a YMCA, a rec center, and a boys club. We're one of like only 7 municipalities in the whole state that has that.
Yes.
You know, you got 2 train stations. You're so close to, like, you know, the Meadowlands, to the Garden State Plaza, to
accessibility is important.
Hospital, every major highway you can get to within a blink of an eye. As long as there's no construction going on River Road, we could get to it in a blink of an eye.
It's kind of like we're spoiled. When I go to other communities and it takes me 15, 20 minutes to even see a highway.
Yeah.
You know, we're definitely lucky and fortunate.
You know, and that's what you got to capitalize on.
Yeah.
You know, especially when you are this close to Manhattan, where people want to work in Manhattan, but they can't afford Manhattan. So we are one day they will move out and go live in Manhattan. That's where they want to live. So again, I want to thank you for coming down.
Thanks for having me, Rich.
I know you're busy and we got to get out of here because you got to go back to and get us more money.
Yeah, I gotta chase the
money.
money.
No money, no funny. And then
show me the money, like Jerry
me
Maguire.
The money. That's right, Marv. I thank you, Marv, for your time. Everybody, Bravery Studios, Marvin. Our city manager, Erin Delaney, we thank you. We're out of here, guys. Take care. Brush your hair.